Could you hear it?
Good afternoon to you. Welcome to General News across Nigeria at 12.
YouLead Summit 2020 theme was Development is People, Youth at the Center of the Peace and Development Agenda. The summit was brought closer to thousands of delegates through a specially designed virtual summit platform, making it possible for delegates to participate through a hybrid setup that was adopted when the COVID-19 situation limited cross-border travel. With the Regional Summit Center in Arusha, Tanzania, at the East African Community Headquarters, and National Summit Centers in Bujumbura, Kampala, Kigali, Nairobi, and Juba, an even broader online audience was able to participate. Day 1 was dedicated to youth in politics, the East Africa Under 40 Political Leaders Forum, reinventing leadership for East African millennials. The summit facilitated a set of intergenerational conversations between young leaders, policymakers, and key national and regional political actors in order to solidify a common purpose, understanding, and solidarity between them. The Nairobi Summit Center played host for Day 1, and key sessions were held simultaneously simultaneously via live telecasts between the EAC headquarters in Arusha, Nairobi, and Juba, providing for a unique hybrid experience. The highlight of the summit and day one was the acceptance by His Excellency Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, former President of the United Republic of Tanzania, to become the patron of YouLead. Key outcomes: launched the process of developing the East African Youth Governance Architecture Report and the East African Youth Manifesto, the East Africa We Want, broadcasted an intergenerational roundtable dialogue on the leadership for the East Africa We Want, and a roundtable conversation on the leadership for the East African Community We Want to inform the curriculum for the East African Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program. Day one also featured the Gender Equality Forum, young women mobilizing towards Goal 5 of Agenda 2030 and Aspiration 6 of Agenda 2063. Young and senior women gathered virtually and in Arusha for an intergenerational conversation on young women's participation in leadership towards realizing meaningful inclusion of young women in good governance and leadership, to tackle several questions which had been raised and co-created by young women in the region through the leadership of Plan International Kenya. And of course, the icing on the cake on day one was the evening fireside chat with His Excellency Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, who freely mingled with the young people and shared words of wisdom with the delegates. Day two was dedicated to the East African Youth Forum on Peace, Youth at the Center of Peace Building and Conflict Prevention. The forum was dedicated to providing an opportunity for youth to have their voice heard and strengthen their ability to engage in peace and security and contribute towards building an effective, well-coordinated and responsive youth sector that acts in solidarity within the region. The discussions focused on the vulnerability of youth in conflicts in the region and the role youth can play in peace building, ensuring sustainable security and stability in East Africa. The forum was led by the YouLead Consortium in South Sudan, with sessions at the EAC headquarters, Arusha, Juba, and virtually. The chief guest being Rebecca Garang, Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan. Key interventions proposed in the forum include: consolidate an East Africa Youth Network for conflict prevention and peace building, capacity building for young peace builders on reconciliation, mediation and arbitration, peer-to-peer roundtable conversation for experience sharing on the implementation of peace and conflict resolution mechanisms, peace building advocacy training for youth in the region, and capacity building for youth on implementation of UNSCR 2250. A series of high-value breakout sessions were also held in the afternoon, facilitated by a number of consortium members. Day 3 was dedicated to the East Africa Under 40 Business Leaders Forum, accelerating economic opportunities and decent work for youth, and the East African Youth Enterprise Awards. Introduced in November 2019, the forum has gained traction in the region, especially amongst young CEOs, entrepreneurs, and innovators. The 2020 forum, jointly hosted by Burundi and Rwanda, was composed of well-structured sets of sessions focusing on youth-specific policy and capacity issues, resulting in a set of outcomes that could be taken up by the EAC member states, development partners, and other actors. In addition, the YouLead program piloted its first ever East African Youth Enterprise Awards, recognizing youth-led businesses across the East African community, the partner states which in the current COVID-19 pandemic global context had managed to remain resilient and are simultaneously taking deliberate, innovative actions towards providing decent livelihoods and confronting the most pressing issues of our region, especially those affecting women and youth. Day 4 was dedicated to post-summit agenda development, as well as creating a strong alumni network, the YouLead Action Network, and the agenda of action based on the outcomes of the national level pre-summit events. This resulted in a common regional agenda for action and country-specific interventions. Day 5 was a follow-up of Day 2 and was dedicated to combating violent extremism and promoting safety online, resources for youth-led NGOs. The session was facilitated by Facebook, with panelists and participants joining both virtually and in Arusha, Tanzania. To all our lead partners for 2020, thank you for your continued commitment to YouLead ambitions. Your participation and support have enabled us to meet several of our goals for 2020. We look forward to continued success together with these collaborations as we pursue the post-summit agenda implementation.
Hello, Africa. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this year's One Young Africa launch. We are so excited that you're with us. No, we are beside ourselves. thank you for making the time to come and join us as we launch this year's summit, the YouLead Summit 2021. Now, my name is Fiona Kemigisha, and I will be your host. If you've been with us before, you know everyone calls me Kemi, so let's go with that. If you are thinking because it's Monday that we are going to be, you know, buttoned up and stiff and serious, think again. It's going to be fun, informative, educational. We are going to have a good time and learn something at the same time, okay? Now, just in case you have never been with us and you're wondering, who are YouLead? Here's a little bit about us, you know, like a quick summary of who we are. YouLead is a joint initiative of the East African Community and MS Training Center for Development Cooperation in Arusha. In a nutshell, we are all about young people participating in entrepreneurship, in leadership, in every sphere there is on the continent, okay? So we are going to get the ball rolling with a few activities, okay? We are going to, I know there's so many questions about what are we launching the summit, and we're going to get into every single detail as we go on. I'm going to introduce just really briefly, first of all, our guests. We have the distinct honor to be hosting Mr. Andrew Mwenda, veteran journalist and founder of the Independent magazine, and Ms. Sodfa Daaji, the YouLead Summit 2021 director. Now, we will be talking to them a little bit later on, but they are here with us. Don't fear, okay? And obviously our audience, we are so grateful. You are also you are important guests, so we are grateful that you have come to join us. I'm going to also quickly introduce the team that is supporting me, supporting this entire thing that's happening, and maybe they can just say hi, so that when you see them in the comments, you see them on social media, it's us, it's YouLead, okay? So there's Franklin Mireri. Franklin, just say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, and there is Miyano.
Hi, everyone.
Aha, there we go. Sebastian. And Mafunda.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
All right, there's Mafunda. Beatrice. All right. It may be a little bit of a connection issue, but when you see any of those people, they'll have YouLead in their name as well. You can just be sure that that is us responding to you and making things happen, okay? Now, as I mentioned, YouLead is not a standalone. We are a partnership. We have some core partners, one of whom is the East African Community. And at this time, I would like to invite Mr. David Onen of the ESC Secretariat to give us an opening remark. Mr. David Onen, kindly go ahead.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you very much, the organizers. Let me mute one of my devices. Yeah, I'm using two devices.
الكلام ده حلو. فاجئوني كده زي ما انا مفاجئكم.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Am I loud now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, organizers of this meeting and this launch. I want to appreciate that the guys behind this arrangement, the organizations, especially
Fiona, kindly ask David to unmute.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Hello?
we can hear you now.
Thank you very much. I wish to extend my appreciation to the coordinators and organizers of this meeting, especially to the team at TCDC and the young people behind the scene who are working with you. I also want to extend our appreciation to the partners who are participating in this meeting today and for the launch of this event. And I also want to extend the greetings from the Secretary General, who has just traveled outside for another mission, but has conveyed his greetings and appreciation for the preparation so far towards the YouLead 2021. As the moderator has said, this is a very strong partnership between EAC and MSTCDC, and of course supported by a number of partners and our active young people in East Africa who are behind this. We don't have much to say today, but only to encourage the partners, the actors, and all those who are coming to willing to participate in this event of 2021, that we are strongly behind you, and this time Secretary General, and of course in the partnership with the patron, His Excellency Jakaya Kikwete, are much appreciating the support and effort we are putting into making this big event up to the African continental level from the EAC. On our part, at the technical level, we want to appreciate also work very closely with you. And for especially for today's event, we are very appreciative to the fact that it has happened, and with a strong partnership with the African Union and other supporters at the continental and the global level. We are behind you, and we wish to congratulate and encourage you to be strong and continue with this work as we look forward to the 8th to the 12th of November this year. With these few remarks, I wish to get you back to the moderator and organizers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. David Onen, Principal Political Affairs Officer at the EAC Secretariat. We appreciate you. And we're going to have one more word from one of our major partners, which is the Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete Foundation, Ms. Vanessa Anyoti, the CEO. I'd like to invite you to come and give us a word about our partnership as we start off the launch. Please go ahead. Okay, maybe we're going to give that a minute. We don't seem to be getting through yet, but in the meantime, okay, I'd like you to know that we are seeing you in the comments. The very first comment was from one Mr. Ogenyi Morris, RDP. Thank you for being the #1 comment in the section. Please feel free, guys, to leave your name, your organization, where you are watching from. We'd like to hear absolutely everything so that we can connect with you even outside this launch, because ultimately this is just a stepping stone to more. So please let us know. I see people from Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Zambia, Uganda, Nigeria. This is fantastic. Algeria, all over the continent. And we'll be responding to you in the comments as well. And for everyone watching us from Facebook, from Twitter, from Restream, we see you, okay? And we will be responding to absolutely everything. Now, as we go on introducing ourselves in the comment sections across the different live streams, we're going to have a couple of young people who are just going to come on and say hi, okay? People from all over the continent. While we can't have every single person say hi, and I wish we could, we really wish we could, we're going to have just a couple of people from different regions, you know, representing where they're from. So let's go ahead and start with the central, okay? I believe we have Yannick Mbeng Obame from Gabon. Yannick, you have 30 seconds to say hello. Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, I see you. However, I see that you are muted.
Hi, everybody. I am Yannick Mbeng Obame from Gabon. Nice to be here with you. Excuse me, my English is not very well. I'm French. French is my language native. I'm here as representative of NGO African Youth Against Corruption and for Transparency. Our main missions are to encourage young people to take an encourage and youthful issue of good governance, but above all to fight against corruption, which insider it. One more time, excuse me, my English is not very good, but I can understand when you speak. But for me to talk is difficult.
No
But I
problem,
can
no problem.
understand.
No problem. We appreciate you.
Okay.
All right, we appreciate you. Thank you
you
for sharing with us. And the next person who is going to share with us briefly is Ms. Tamara Busamba. Tamara, go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, thank you so much. And my name is Tamara. I'm from Gabon. I'm the founder of Agridis. I'm a young entrepreneur, and I'm happy to be here with you guys. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Tamara. Hey, you're looking good over there in Gabon. Hey. Okay. So now we're going to have a couple of young people from the northern region. There is Mr. Hatim Azniga from Morocco. Apologies if I am murdering your name. Apologies. Hatim, go ahead, please.
Hello, good morning. Hello, leaders around the African continental. I'm very happy to join you in this virtual meeting. But yes, I feel the positive energy from your all amazing countries. Exactly, we need to gather in our efforts. I'm very happy to join you as a youth activist in Morocco and also as a United Nations Commissioner of Nairobi Summit for Population and Development. Sure, we can stay on contact and work together inside this amazing event and opportunity. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Hatim. And I believe the next person is Mr. Akram Sedani from Algeria. Go ahead, Akram. Okay. I'm going to assume we're having a bit of an issue there getting Akram. So we're going to move on to the next person. Mr. Ibrahim Ramadan from Egypt. Go ahead, Ibrahim.
No comment. I have no question. I am here like as a representative from NGO IAD. I'm in charge of.
Yannick?
Yes, I'm in charge of legal affairs in my NGO, which I represent.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. We're going to move on to the next person. Yes, I think we're not able to reach Ibrahim. So let's go ahead to Mr. Mwila Banga of Zambia. Go ahead, Mwila. Mwila, are you there? Oh, this is unfortunate. We really wanted to have all these different people from different places come and just say hello. Unfortunately, you know how the internet is sometimes, so I'm assuming we weren't able to get Mwila either. Mr. Mansuza Kingu, Tanzania. Mr. Mansuza Kingu.
Yes. Hey.
Hello. Please go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Masuda Kingu from Tanzania, and I'm representing the SADC Youth Council. I have some of our comrades here also from Angola, Namibia, and Zambia.
Fantastic. We love to hear it from all over the continent. Okay, hopefully we can also get Ms. Elsa Teresa Graciano, Angola. Elsa, are you online? Are you able to say hello?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic.
Yes, nothing for us without us. Hello, my name is Elsa. I'm from Angola. I am Deputy Country Representative and it is nice to meet you all.
Thank
Africa.
you.
Yes.
Yes. Angola is coming with some really wonderful energy. Thank you, Elsa. All right. We also have Ms. Anita Komujisha from Uganda. Anita, go ahead and say hello.
Hi, Kemi. And hi, Africa. My name is Anita Komujisha from Uganda, ESC up Uganda. And I want to say Mwasiba Muta. Hello, how are you? Komosova, Mambo, and welcome everyone. We're excited to be here.
Hey, Madam, representing. She has said her hello in like 4 different languages. Hey, that's a low-key challenge, guys. So next is Mr. Shaka Jeremy from Rwanda. Shaka, are you there? Okay. I think we're not able to get him. So let's move on to Hans Jr., Tanzania. Hans, are you there?
Hello, everyone.
Yes, go ahead.
My name is Hans Jr. from Tanzania, United Republic. I'm in Dodoma region, the capital city. I welcome you all, and I'm excited to be part of the YouLead Summit 2021. We welcome very much. YouLead, feel the part of it. Welcome to Tanzania.
Okay, thank you so much, Hans. I really love the energy you guys have come with. Yeah, it's like it's morning. Okay, so we're going to do a quick. Oh, I see Mwila is on now. Mwila, would you like to say hello?
Hi. So sorry, I was having internet challenges. Thank you so much for having me. Really excited to be here. My name is Mwila Wanga from Zambia. I'm a governance expert by profession, and I love what YouLead does. I couldn't miss this for anything. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mwila, repping Zambia. So we're going to do a quick social media moment right now, okay? If you are comfortable, please do switch on your camera, and we're going to take a screenshot of this. We're just going to let people know that, this is what's happening right now. For us, we are here and we are enjoying, we are learning, we are networking with people from all over the continent. So if you're comfortable, you can go ahead and switch on your camera, and I'll just count us down before someone from our team takes a screenshot. Okay, 5, and smile. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, Seba, confirm if you've gotten the photo.
I confirm.
Okay, sawa. Thank you. I think we have the photo. So one more thing that is inspired by you guys, our audience, you guys are the most engaging audience, by the way. Thank you so much. One request we get almost every single day for our WhatsApp group. People have asked us for a WhatsApp group, and we said, you know what, once we are in a place where it's just about everybody, that is when we are going to create this group, so as many people as possible are able to just click and join. So I'm going to ask my members of my team to send the WhatsApp link right there in the comment section, and you can tap and join immediately, and you'll be able to receive every single update, not just today, but in this entire period moving forward. Everything we're doing, everything our partners are doing, all the updates will be there. And today in specific, we'll be sharing absolutely everything that's happening here, whether it's the screenshots or our social media handles. We are going to share everything there, and feel free, okay, to share yours as well back. So I'm sure that link is in the comments. I am also going to join right now. We're just going to do this thing in real time. We're not saying tomorrow is the day we shall join. We are joining right now. Let me see who is actually joining with me at this specific moment. Let me see. I'm going to type my name and see who else is here. Okay. I don't know, why don't I see anybody yet? Let me see the first name I see. I will just read it out. The first name I see on our WhatsApp group. Okay. All right. Oh, I see that it's already getting full and we're almost opening another one. Hey, fantastic. I can't even read the first because there's a whole list. Nice. I like how we're moving. You're moving in the spirit of this summit. Okay. So now we are going to introduce the summit. I'm going to request that everybody who is unmuted, please hit mute so that we can just Okay, sorry, I'm sure you couldn't hear me for a second there. All right, we just had to mute everyone so that we can make sure everybody can hear what's happening, okay? All right. Okay, so we're going to introduce the summit to you, and there is a very special someone who will be able to introduce the summit a lot better than I can, and I'm just going to let that video play as we introduce to you the YouLead Summit 2021.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Excellencies, distinguished young people, and dear friends. It is a pleasure for me to inform you that this year's YouLead Summit will be held from the 8th to the 12th of November in Arusha, Tanzania. As you may recall, the YouLead Summit is being convened annually by the Secretary General of the East African Community in collaboration with the MS Training Center for Development Cooperation and other partners. It is heartwarming indeed to know that the 2021 YouLead Summit will also be accessible to an Africa-wide audience via virtual platforms. This year's theme is the future of Africa, creating jobs, feeding, and housing the world's youngest continent. I'd like to use this opportunity to invite you all to participate actively or virtually. I call upon policymakers, development partners, the private sector, media, civil society, and other stakeholders to be part of and support the East African community in convening this year's YouLead Summit. I thank you and look forward to welcoming you all to the summit.
And there you have it. There you have it from our patron, His Excellency Jakaya Mrisho Chikwete, inviting every single young person on the continent to YouLead Summit 2021. Now, we are going to get into a conversation now. If you saw our poster, we're having a conversation on why Africa's youth need to unite in creating solutions to Africa's development challenges and how digital tools can make this easier today. And on that note, I am going to properly introduce our chief guest. Now, this is a man who probably doesn't need a very much reintroduction because I know many of you have interacted with his work. Mr. Andrew Mwenda, one of Uganda's leading political journalists and the managing director of The Independent. He has spent his career fighting for free speech and economic empowerment throughout the continent, and we are so very privileged to have him join us today. Mr. Mwenda, welcome to the YouLead Summit launch.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator, for that nice and generous introduction. Do you hear me?
Very well, very well.
Yes. And I want to thank the YouLead Summit for once again inviting an old man of an advanced age of 109 to speak to young people who are in their youth. I am sure I am 3 times the age of the average person listening to me.
3 times might be an exaggeration, but we are very inclusive.
I am 109 years. On 3rd October, I turn 109 years. So many people there are just actually, if they are 25, it's times 4. If they are 30, it's times 3.5. But nonetheless, thank you so much for inviting me. And the topic is also intriguing: how we can, how African youth can unite to promote the interests of our people on this continent. Before we discuss how our youth can unite, I believe that the most important thing our youth need to know is what is the most important objective of our states and the governments across the continent. I think I am a self-appointed general in the army. The first principle of command is selection and maintenance of the aim. A commander going into battle must know what the objective of that war is, the main political aim. Even us, when we are discussing with the youth, we need to know what is the overall objective or social objective of what our governments do. The overall objective is structural transformation of our societies, or what normally people call development. And what constitutes structural transformation? There are about 5 elements. I'll talk only about 2. Element 1 of structural transformation is that most people's livelihoods need to stop depending on agriculture to industry. This change from agriculture to industrial services is occasioned by another structural transformation, which is that most people begin to leave rural areas where agriculture is based to live in urban areas where industry and services are largely based. So, to be food secure, you do not need to produce your own food. The United States of America has capacity to feed the whole world, but only 2% of the American population is employed in agriculture. In my country, Uganda, 70% of the population is employed in agriculture. That's why we're very poor. If you look at Japan, only about 3% of the population is employed in agriculture. France has the largest share of the population, of its population in agriculture of any rich country, but it's only about 5%. So if you are going to be food secure, agriculture needs to be modernized, and modernization involves the following transitions. One of them is the shift from the hoe to the tractor and the combine harvester. And of course, the shift from depending on nature to depending on modern technology, whether it is through irrigation, fertilizers, or the use of improved seed or fast maturing seed varieties. So that is structural transformation, the shift from agriculture to industrial services and the shift from rural to urban areas. How do we achieve this structural transformation, or development as we call it? Development takes place within the context of international trade. Young people, there is not a single country that is closed from the rest of the world that has ever developed. So the space for development takes place within the space called international trade. Now, international trade is a value chain. In international trade, some countries produce cotton, others weave cloth, others market high fashion. Some countries mine iron ore, others sell steel, others market automobiles. How much you earn from international trade depends on your position in that value chain. If you produce and export raw cotton, like my own country, Uganda, you earn about 1.5 to 2% of the international market price. If you weave cloth, like Bangladesh does, you earn about 15 to 17% of the international market price. But if you market high fashion, like France and Italy do, there you have Dolce & Gabbana, you have Louis Vuitton, you have Menegel Dozenya, you have all these expensive brands, you earn anything between 65 to 70% of the international market price. Really, your position in the development value chain is determined, rather the destiny and fortunes of your country are determined by your position in that value chain. Do you produce and sell cotton, weave cloth, or market high fashion? If you mine iron ore, you will earn about 3% of the international market price. If you sell steel, maybe you get 20%. If you market automobiles, you'll be getting about 6 or 65%. That is the difference. So here comes our challenge. as Africans and you, the youth, that the process of development that we seek is a process of upgrading from producing and exporting low value goods to the production and export of high value goods. We must move from cotton to weaving cloth to marketing high fashion. When you sell cotton, you are Uganda, you're a highly indebted poor country. When you weave cloth, you are Bangladesh, you are a middle income country, maybe middle income country. And when you market high fashion, you are an advanced country, Italy or France. So how do we move from being producers and exporters of raw products to exporting value-added products of the high quality? Because that is where our future lies. That is largely done through manufacturing. The good thing about manufacturing, it gives us two advantages. And I'll come to the problem that Africa right now is facing. Two advantages. One, it has unlimited productivity gains. When I talk of productivity, I mean output per unit factor input. That today, the old man of the clan like me is using a hoe. So it takes me 1 month to cultivate 1 acre. Tomorrow, if I use a tractor, I can cultivate 10 acres in 1 day. That is productivity. Output per unit factor input, whether that factor is labor, land, or capital. That is what it does. Second, manufacturing can create for us large-scale, broad-based jobs for the less skilled. There is very limited space for increasing productivity in the sphere called services. Now, if you look at Africa's growth over the last 20 years, Africa has actually been running a very good growth marathon. But why hasn't Africa benefited a lot from this growth marathon? Our growth has been driven by services in telecommunications, in mass media, in things like that. The problem with services is they have limited space for productivity growth. One of the biggest services in Uganda is riding borders. How do we increase the productivity of a person riding a motorcycle as a taxi? You can only increase productivity by increasing speed. But if you increase speed, you risk an accident. Indeed. How do you increase the productivity of a teacher? Either by increasing the size of the class or lengthening the time the teacher teaches. But in each of them, if you lengthen the time the teacher teaches, he gets tired and becomes unable to deliver the quality you want. If you expand the class from 40 students to 150, the quality of teaching will decline. The same applies to the work of a nurse, the work of a doctor or a surgeon or anyone. In services, in many services, you can only increase productivity at the price of reducing the quality of the work that you're producing. But manufacturing, because manufacturing is driven by technology, it is easy to increase manufacturing, as I said, to move me from a hoe to a plow, from a plow to a tractor. The possibilities are limitless. And that normally happens in factories. Even agriculture has limited productivity gains. So how, therefore, can Africa advance to enter manufacturing and upgrade from low value to high value products? Our continent, I must tell you, young people, is obsessed with foreign direct investment. Whether you go to Tanzania, Kenya, Ghana, Ivory Coast, and Senegal, they think about foreign direct investment. And I should tell you, foreign direct investment is a very poor and inappropriate vehicle for our process of structural transformation. Why? As a rule, multinational companies do not transfer the most innovative components of their business to their subsidiaries. Apple is not going to shift the design and marketing of the iPhone from the Silicon Valley to Tanzania. At best, they can assemble the iPhone from Tanzania. But the design and marketing of the iPhone, which is the most valuable component of that business, consumes 64% of the value of the iPhone. You see this iPhone I use? 64% is design and marketing. Assembly, which is done in China, is about 19%. But coltan, which is produced in the Congo, in here, the value is maybe 2%. That's why Congo is poor. China is rapidly growing because it's entering the smartphone market. It's not only assembling the iPhones, but it designs her own phones like, I think they have Techno, they have Huawei, they have all, they're entering that game, and that's why they're rapidly transforming. While for us, we are growing without much structural transformation. So foreign direct investment is not the best vehicle. It will not give us the kind of innovations that we need. That is why we need to build our own businesses and our own brands. If you look at the late developers, Britain industrialized through textiles. Germany and America through automobiles. So you see BMW, you see Mercedes-Benz, you see Volkswagen and Audi. You look at Japan, you see them with Toyota, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Honda, Mitsubishi. If you go to look at South Korea, you have Kia, you have Hyundai, you have Daewoo, you have Samsung. So we should ask ourselves, what are Africa's brands? Whether it's for cars, even for phones, we're the largest consumers of mobile phone handsets in the world. I think Africa buys about 300 million mobile phone handsets every year, or 400 million mobile handsets. And we don't have a single country manufacturing these phones. We are just beginning to assemble. That means that we are not benefiting from the greatest value of our spending. So the second thing is we need to have faith in our own companies, recognize that when they start early, they will produce poor quality products at a higher price. But as they grow, like a child grows, they acquire skills, they acquire scale. Skills improve quality, scale reduces the unit cost of the product, and with time, we will succeed. I should tell you that the second largest automobile company in the world is Toyota. For the first 20 years of Toyota's existence, it was making losses. 3 times it came to bankruptcy. 3 times it was bailed out by the government of Japan. Today, it is the largest and most innovative car manufacturer, second largest automobile company in the world. So when we immediately complain, shut down our company because it has made 2 mistakes, we are just killing ourselves. So, and for us to be able to achieve this, we need to gain control of the policy debate in Africa. The policy debate in Africa is dominated by the IMF and the World Bank. IMF and the World Bank, people who work there, have particular ideas which they genuinely believe in. But these ideas are ideas of rich countries. They are not appropriate for us. Whether it is on how we should organize our politics, how we should organize our economic policies, those people bring us a one-size-fits-all solution, which may work for them, but will not work for us. So as youth, you need to learn that we need to develop ideological independence, our ability to develop our own ideas for our own future. Dependence on other people's ideas is a problem. Many of our problems in Africa are locally generated. And
oh, Andrew, kindly unmute. Seems to be muted.
The spirits of our ancestors, I think I have spoken for far too long. That's why.
Actually, if I might just interject for a second, what I hear you saying is that there is a very major lack of risk. We're not taking certain risks, and because we are not, it's holding us back.
Yes, there are 2 things. You are right. You are right, Fiona. There are 2 things. One is that we lack ideological independence. We depend on other people's ideas. And because of that, we become extremely risk averse because fortune favors the bold. We need to be bold and take certain risks, recognizing that if we take these risks, we will do 10 things that will fail. But we'll do 10 things, 8 will fail. The 2 that succeed will succeed, as Trump would say, bigly. So our problems are local. The demands of them are locally generated. But when it comes to us discussing the solutions, we retreat to a textbook theory, to a theory in a textbook published at Harvard or Cambridge, explaining the experience of Europe, not our own experience. So we come to the 4th issue, that we must take control of our political destiny, have faith in our own companies, have faith in our own ideas, and generate ideas that are relevant to us. So what would be the role of digital platforms in this? I think we have a great opportunity now because we can network. Just imagine, I'm looking at the participants here, there are 222. I'm in Uganda, some of them are in Mali, others in Gabon, Tanzania, Zambia. So through these digital platforms, we can network. A lot of African youth go on social media to quarrel, to yell, to hurl insults and abuses at others. That is a wastage of time. I beg you, the youth, go there to do social networking. Go there to learn, to do business incubation, but also go there to promote the ideas that will transform our continent. From a continent that depends on others for ideas and products to one that depends on its own people. And I want to talk about 2 things that are in here about housing. I personally think one of the most important things, I started by discussing feeding, that we don't need every person to be in agriculture to feed ourselves. In fact, we need agriculture to be commercialized. Fewer people should be in agriculture and use modern methods of agriculture. We need only 2 to 5% of our population in agriculture. So we don't need everybody to be in agriculture to feed ourselves. We need very few. But I want to come to housing. One of the biggest drivers of economic development and growth and transformation is housing. Housing is a very important thing for us because it has very low import content. You don't import labor to build a house. You don't import most of these iron sheets or tiles. We make them locally. We don't import sand. Most of these countries, our countries don't import even cement. We don't import bricks. We can just burn them in our own backyard. We don't import poles. Most of the inputs, I can count hundreds of them, first of all, are locally generated. So they tend to create a larger multiplier effect. Why are so many Africans either living in bad housing or living in somebody else's house and paying rent? I personally believe no African who earns more than who pays rent of more than $200 a month should live in a rented house. Why? A house is an expensive item which is bulky and indivisible. When I say bulky, it's big, and indivisible, I mean you cannot buy a living room today and say you'll buy a kitchen tomorrow and a bedroom the third year. So the best way to resolve the issue of housing is through mortgage finance. You can take a loan for 20, 30, 40 years and pay small monthly installments over time. During that time, your equity in the house increases because of the appreciation in price, while your debt goes on reducing. So the best and the lazy way to save money, or let me say easy way to save money, is through housing. In Africa here, we need financial instruments to support large-scale construction of housing and to support mortgage finance. The problem in Africa is our banking sector, our finance sector is dominated by commercial banks, which take short-term deposits. They cannot lend them long-term because they will run into what we call a liquidity mismatch. They will have lent money for 30 years, but Fiona wants to come and collect the money from the ATM. So we need to mobilize long-term savings to finance long-term investments. These long-term investments with a long gestation period could be housing and factories. Long-term capital of 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. We need to be in that. And once every young person lives in a house which they own, they become stakeholders because they will not seek violence, which will destroy the asset they hold. It is the only way we can build a middle class. It is the only way we can mobilize long-term savings, because when you are paying for servicing a mortgage, you're actually saving money to own the house. When you are paying rent, you are feeding someone else's pocket. So with that, I want to end my talk here and perhaps listen to your criticisms, appreciations, questions, and suggestions. Thank you very much for listening to an old man about 109.
Thank you, old man, as you keep calling yourself. It's much appreciated. You touched so many important things. I think one thing for me that stood out is the position in the value chain. You expressed it so detailedly and so very well. And for me, it was actually very eye-opening. I don't believe I've ever seen it that way. And yeah, for me, something really clicked there. But I'm going to let I'm going to read a few comments here and see if there's something that, if there are any responses that people would like to hear. Let me see. I see Namanda Allen says, how do we develop self-dependency on our own resources, minimize dependency on foreign aid and technology, and eventually change the way we do things? Yeah, that is his question. He also adds that Africa has been moving in the footsteps of foreign modernization, a trend that must be changed. I think he is in line with you, Mr. Mwenda.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe he's actually re-echoing what you said. Now I'm going to I see we have quite a number of hands up. We may not be able to give every single person an opportunity to speak, but okay, I see a lady called Stella Namukasa. Stella, come, you can unmute yourself and contribute.
Well, do you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Do you hear me very well? Okay,
yes.
I'm so glad to have joined this summit. And my issue, as in concerning what our old papa has been saying, Mr. Andrew Mwenda, I just thank him for all the views and everything. But in regard for the youth and the women, because I'm dealing in those guys, the issue of like being over dependency and not being innovative is making these things in Uganda very worse. As in, youth look at being funded every time. They look at getting free things every time. They look at not working and not being creative. So we have to also include the intellectual property so that these guys can maybe upgrade and maybe stop from being renting, and maybe we build our own houses so that we stop like feeding the pockets of the landlords. I'm picking that thing, and it is so a message I'm going to preach to my young women and the youth in Uganda. Thank you very much.
I agree with you, Stella. I don't really have any comment. I agree with you 100%. Very great comment.
Thank you. That's all I have. Yes.
Can unmute yourself.
Oh, apologies, guys. Yes, so there's a gentleman here called Kak Ruot. Kak, go ahead. I think you are muted.
Yes, right now. I think you are hearing me very clearly. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Andrew, for this insight. It is really a very exciting moment having you here as an old man. That's why we say there is always saying that there is no other progress of the young people without the direction from the big people. So I would concern here about the point of education, because now one of the major problems is education in Africa, because we are taught just to memorize what is already applied. So there is no other scientific innovation in Africa. While the world now is struggling with the issue of vaccine, the African is still begging, to have a vaccine. Okay, and these are the things that could be the ingredient that could play an economical role. I think there's someone speaking.
Go ahead. You need to unmute first.
Okay, thank you. So I think the issue of education in Africa need to be taken very seriously, because this is one of the problems that we are facing right now. Okay, we are just taught to memorize things which do not work here. They are discovered there in Europe, but the problem is not related here to the problem that Africa is going through. So in 2019, I'm the member of the Pan-African Youth Union. We organized the issue of education that should relate to the market. Okay, so we seen that anything that is happening in Africa is an issue of education, because we lack innovative people. We are not innovative. Okay, we just graduated from university. We are not discovering anything. We are not doing anything new. Only that we have that certificate at home. We don't have the skill even to apply in the market. I think the issue of education need to be taken very seriously. The education, it need to be the only things that we can able to transform Africa, because without education we cannot understand the issue of agriculture. Now we are studying things that relate to the industrial age of the American, the industrial age of Europe. We don't have our one here. So I ask our scholars to do something about this, because we can change this continent through education. Without education, we are not going anywhere. We would be thinking, based on our colonial powers. We would be thinking like a British, like a French, like something like that. So we need to work very hard in education. So this is my suggestion, and I really, really agree with you with all the insight that you have put in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kak. That was a very spirited contribution about the issue of education and how are we educating our young people. I mean, as a person who also studied something I completely do not do at the moment, I hear you. A lot of our education is based on what is prestigious, what looks good, but are we teaching young people to take risks? To take risks, to position us in the value chain that Mr. Mwenda was talking about. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to let every single person contribute. I do see hands.
But Fiona, I just want to comment something on education. First, I agree with CAC. Generally, we have a problem with our education system, especially our applied education is okay. People who study arts, but people who study arts, political science, and elsewhere, our education is so foreign-based. With very little production of local knowledge. So we tend to parrot Western ideas and think they can work for us. When I listen to most African intellectuals speaking, even when I was young, when I read the things I used to write when I was young, I recognize how wrong I was. You can imagine the Americans went to Afghanistan, and for 20 years they sought to engineer Afghanistan to become Denmark. And they spent $2.26 trillion. That's more than the GDP of the whole of Africa, and got nothing. When they left, the day they left is when the government they had been propping up collapsed with its army and all the military training it got and all the weaponry. So foreigners can never fix us. We need to fix ourselves. But where I disagree with the CAC is our people are not innovative. In fact, in Uganda here, every day I meet so many innovative people. There is a kid at Makerere University who invented plastic you can make from cassava. Another one did the tear gas. Another one invented a missile. Another one, there is a guy in the village in Uganda the other day, he built a helicopter, flew it and failed to land it, and even had an accident trying to land it. So there's so many innovations people are doing. I think what we lack in Africa is how to connect the innovators with the business community so that the business fund these great ideas. There is a documentary each one of you should watch called The Men Who Built America. So you see the guy called Edison, he invents this thing of electricity, direct current. And when he invents it, a man called JP Morgan comes and finances it. No, I think Andrew Carnegie finances it. He owned Carnegie Steel. Then another one was working with Edison called Tesla. He invents alternating current. But there was a JP Morgan to finance them. So you will find that there's so many small innovators who would be financed by these leading business people, and they end up transforming entire industries. So if you ask me, in Uganda, I don't see the private sector funding these innovative ideas. Even the government of Uganda tries, because they are funding Kira now. They are funded, some of them, but not to the degree, because here it's based on the decision of one man called the president. But I wonder why the private sector in Africa does not move from small little businesses they do of trading up and down, running to China and buying goods and selling them, to funding these innovative ideas. I don't know. So it's not the absence of innovation, but the linkage between innovators and those people with money.
That's a very important point. Because indeed, there are many innovators who simply don't have access to funding, to financing. And how, I think what's coming to mind now is how do we bridge that gap? How do we connect our innovators to people who can actually finance them? Or better yet, how do we educate the people that are in positions to do this financing, to make this priority, to invest in the innovators that are actually going to bring us closer to where we want to be as communities, as countries, as a continent. Now, I'm not going to be able to give every single person a chance, so I'm going to give one more person an opportunity to say something. I think it will be just a moment. We are really just going on anyone here. Okay, Lucky Maganga, do you have something to say? I see your hand is up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, thank you. Hi. So I would like to thank Mr. Andrew for his comments. I just have a few issues that I would like to discuss, if that's okay. First of all, I do understand where you're coming from in terms of our position in the value chain, how we commit ourselves and everything. However, I do see a part of it where it might lead to a state where our countries are run by oligarchs, where if it's the means of production that are controlled by a few people, for example, if it's only a few farmers who are running the farms, only a few people will be able to, make the production, produce the food, all of that, while most people are busy working in factories, working in these industries that we're claiming, where they won't be owned by these people. They'll just be normal working class people. They'll just be, a tiny part of the entire system. That being one. Two, in terms of the financing, in terms of like mortgages and everything, I'm sure, yes, the banking system in Africa has a bit of an issue with that. However, we can see some of the problems that have come off from such schemes, yeah, where loans are becoming too heavy and people are unable to pay their debts. People are unable to, where their homes end up being taken after some time because they're unable to pay the mortgages, even if it seems that you're paying a bit at a time over a period of time. And also, lastly, how do you make that an issue for young Africans? What sort of solution would you have for young Africans in order to not get into a debt cycle like that? I think I only have those two questions for now. If anything else, maybe you'll chat in the WhatsApp group. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucky. Mr. Mwenda, let me give you the opportunity to respond.
I do not know, where does Lucky come from? Lucky Maganga. You come from Tanzania?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, okay. But because you said land is owned by a few oligarchs, you see, that's not the experience of Uganda. I don't know the experience of Tanzania. Most land in Uganda is owned by ordinary peasants who occupy and till it. So we don't have a problem of a landed oligarchy.
My question was more of, when you're saying that the people should move from the farms into the urban areas where there should be just a few farmers. You don't need, everybody to be farming for it to be productive. You need a couple of few people to be doing the farming, and then most people to be in the cities or in any other place. That was my issue, not in terms of the land itself being owned by a few. It's just that condition might lead to just a very few people owning most of the means of production for the food and for other equipment, while most people are just working in cities, which also leads to other problems like congestion, all those other things that might come up later. But, yeah.
Well, I think that we need both pull and push factors. The pull factor is that if you have manufacturing developing in urban areas, you will have people migrating to take opportunities, to take jobs in these urban areas. And two, the push factor, of course, could be that agriculture is not paying them well and they have to leave. And initially, even their standard of living may decline. If you read most of the countries, even China today, there's a massive movement of people out of rural areas into factories where they live in squalid conditions. By the way, the process of development is not a process of hug and kiss. This is one of the mistakes Africans make, to think that we can hug and kiss each other to development. No, there will be a period, just like when you're giving birth, it's a very painful process. Many of you have not given birth because you're not women, but an old man like me knows these things. But finally, and when the child is young, it's the problems of just raising a child until they're able to stand on their own is very difficult. So Africa will have to go through that birthing process. And therefore, if we invested more in attracting investment into manufacturing to produce our own products, would actually attract people to urban areas. When people come to urban areas, the first thing they demand is food, the second is housing. On those two, you will have, once you have demand, then you'll have supply responding. So, and once people live rural areas, I have this belief that, and there's huge demand for food in urban areas, it will become much more profitable to invest in large scale agriculture, which is mechanized, in order to supply the cities. One of the reasons right now is that we have a very small urban population to provide a large enough market for food. By the way, I have a disagreement with our president, Yoweri Museveni, here because he has a gross misunderstanding of something called a market. President Museveni thinks a market is a population. No, you can have a population of 10 million, but because of their high purchasing power, they can purchase more goods than a population of 100 million. So a market should not be seen in terms of the number of human beings, the number of souls. It should be seen in terms of the size of the wallet. And I personally think that if people, agriculture, people who live in agriculture, peasants, they produce for their own consumption. So they don't depend on others for their own survival. Their relationship with the market is marginal. They just go there to buy maybe kerosene, cooking oil, sugar, and salt. But by and large, they produce what they eat, what they produce. So they constrain the market. They build their own house. They produce their own food. You cannot have a market when 70% of the people are producing their own food. So the transition from agriculture to industry will create a large market for food and therefore make investment in agriculture attractive. Regarding the banking system, Lucky, I agree with you. If there is a person very critical of the banking system in Africa, it is me. I think that Africa, we sold ourselves out to multinational banks. These multinational banks are mercenary banks. Two, our central banks are directly under the control of IMF. I do not know whether you young people know this, that in fact, the rules that govern banking in Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, Ivory Coast, and Benin are written in Washington, D.C. And those that are not written in Washington, D.C., they are written in Johannesburg, they are written in Dubai and London and Paris and superimposed. You know, if you're a multinational bank, like say Standard Chartered Bank from London, Standard Chartered Bank brings rules from London and imposes it on its Ugandan subsidiary. Those rules are based on the psychological belief that Africans are not trustworthy. So they make it very difficult to borrow. I can give you my personal example. One time I was trying to buy a house in Uganda. This is 2005. I could not go to Barclays Bank Uganda and borrow money. It would take me 3 months. Yet the managing director was a personal friend to me. The up down to the cleaner, everyone knew me. I got onto a plane at night at around 8 p.m. I left Uganda. I flew to London. By 9 a.m. I was in a bank, in Barclays Bank London. I am not a resident there, but I have an account there, which I used to keep serviced. I was able to borrow 50,000 pounds within 2 hours and the same day fly back to Kampala and pay on my, because I was going to take a mortgage, I just needed money for a down payment on the mortgage. I just did that in 2 hours in the bank in London. No one there knew me. They just looked at my account. So when I talk to Ugandans here, they say, right now, somebody from Standard Chartered Bank has left my office. They have come to lend me money. They're asking for my great-grandfather's grave, titles of this and that. They make this process so difficult. I've been in the process of trying to get money from them. Less than $1 million. It has lasted the last, I think, 2 months. Yet I can fly right now to London or San Francisco, where I own an account because I lived at Stanford University, and be able to borrow so easily. So I think that the rules of banking set by the central bank, the rules set by multinational banks to manage themselves are so stringent that they leave very little room for Africans to participate effectively in the banking sector. We used to have a bank in Uganda owned by a businessman called Sudhir. If you go to downtown Kampala called Chikuro and talk to businessmen there who can't speak English, that is the bank that built them, because Sudhir knew their businesses. So they were lent because on the basis of KYC, know your customer. How does Standard Chartered in London know the business dealings of an ordinary man called Bosco Mwonge in Uganda, who is the third richest real estate mogul behind Sudhir and Pradeep Karia in Kampala? He can't speak English, but he does brisk business. When he goes to Standard Chartered Bank or Stanbic Bank, they give him documents. He can't read them. They can't understand his business. They're applying rules based in Johannesburg and London. But Sudhir knew his business because they grew up trading together on Kampala streets. We need to own our own banks. Our banks must reflect our values, our behavior, our practices, and our habits. And all risk mitigation measures must be put there without undermining the factors that make us successful as Africans. So the control of our banking sector by multinational banks is a disaster. Now regarding debt, like whoever borrows, even in the most developed economies, many people fail to pay their debts, others succeed. For young people, you need to learn how to manage your debt. Don't accumulate debt that is far beyond your means of service, except of course when you have a situation where you took a loan and then you are employed, then you lose your job or your company closes, because that's much more complicated. There we can discuss how do we design products like unemployment insurance or insurance around you losing a job so that you don't lose your house. But those are inner policy details that we can be discussed by these countries to limit the risk of people losing their homes.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
And thank you, Lucky, as well. That was very engaging. I think something that really stood out for me is just the characteristic of most of our processes being self-defeating, because it appears that most of the things that we have in place aren't actually working for us. They seem to be rather working against us in the long run. And so there's definitely a lot of things that we need to be fixing. Now I'm going to give one more person an opportunity to comment. I think this time it should be a lady then. All right, let me look through here. I see you waving, my friend, but I'm looking for a lady. So that we can balance this out a bit, yeah? All right, okay, I don't see any ladies with their hands up. So let me go back to my friend who was waving. Okay, Patrick Sumana, go ahead, Patrick, welcome.
Yeah, I want to been so impressive. Towards what my colleague was just saying. It was all laudable. You know, all the points that he is iterating on is very factual. You know, it's very good because all of the problems he has already stated is the problem affecting Africa. You know, and so Africans, if we want to transform that kind of mindset, you know, by this type of lecturing, you know, mind-driven stuff, I think if we collect all of those ideas now that he is portraying now, if we collect them and put more emphasis on them, I think it will be a great venture and also a laudable one, you know. But all of those, some of those things he has already highlighted, you know, it is not affecting all of African countries, you know. Okay, down here, let me say down here in Sierra Leone, here, some of those mortgage banking system you talk about there, the mortgage banking system you talk about there is not in Sierra Leone here, you know. Here in Sierra Leone, you have to pay rent. Without rent, you have to build your own house. You know, you mortgaging a property, you know, in this country is not easy because there is no that type of low-cost housing or companies that will build, you know, houses that you can mortgage, which you'll be paying by months, quarterly, or all of them stuff, those stuff. But those things that he has already highlighted, I think as youth activists, you know, even though the facility is not down here, I think I will try very hard again upon me collecting all of those points that he has highlighted. I will make sure I champion it. And also we can try to be empowering those mindsets down here in Sierra Leone. That is all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Patrick, for that contribution. I wonder, Andrew, do you have anything to respond to, or shall we proceed? We can't hear you. You're muted, Andrew.
I was saying I don't have anything to add to what Patrick has said, because I really agree with 100% with what he has said.
All right. All right, thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Patrick, and thank you each and every one of you who has contributed. I am sorry that not every single person is going to be able to say something. I did see one more. I saw something on our Facebook, and we don't want to ignore our other audience. I see Heart Atep says, how can we engage the youth in tourism entrepreneurship in terms of sustainability in diversity goals? Andrew, would you like to respond to that?
I beg your pardon?
Let me just repeat. Heart Atep over on Facebook says, how can we engage the youth in tourism entrepreneurship? Okay, sorry. Guys, please do mute if you are not contributing so that we can manage that background noise up. All right, so let me just repeat it one more time. Heart Atep from Nigeria asks, how can we engage the youth in tourism entrepreneurship in terms of sustainability for diversity goals?
That's a very difficult question, my grandson from Nigeria. I don't know. Yes, I really don't know how we can do that.
Indeed, that is a difficult one, Heart. But okay, sorry. Again, guys, let's make sure we're muted. All right. Okay, so we are going to proceed.
Somebody called Afeyenyi Ofodu says he knows how it can be done. Can he answer?
Go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead,
thank you so much for giving me the chance to speak. Okay, so thank you so much for giving me the chance to speak. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so being engaged with the regional bodies, most especially with UNICEF and African Union, I believe that there are platforms that can properly engage youths, most especially in tourism. But the problem that we have is that the youths are not connected to these platforms. They are disengaged from these opportunities. Why? Because sometimes they see that it's limited to the opportunity youth. But that is quite unfortunate because it is actually for everybody. So to actually engage in this thing, I always advise my fellow peers to keep on fighting for regional bodies that are advocating for this youth inclusion. There are out there. For example, if you have cases of education in emergencies, there are bodies like Education Cannot Wait Fund that are handling these things. The problem is just to reach out to them. Sometimes they do respond. As an advocate for UNICEF, the way I got in was I was just ordinary there. I sent a mail and they responded back. So I encourage youth to search their social medias, look for these foundations that are working on this, most especially on tourism, reach out to them. Trust me, when you reach out to them, they always respond at the end. It is not always left for the elite group. We can do it too. So I encourage people to keep reaching out and trust me, they will answer you. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Ifeni. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name so well, but thank you so much for that. What I hear you saying is shoot your shot. Okay, shoot your shot. When you see an organization that is working in a field that you are interested in, that you feel is making actual impact, reach out to them. That is how a lot of people find their opportunities, just like you were saying. So shoot your shot, okay? Do it today, in fact. Let this be the day that you made the decision to shoot your shot and find your placement, find that place where you can make the most impact in your community. All right. So thank you so much, every single person who has commented, contributed to the discussion. A very big thank you to Mr. Andrew Mwenda for taking the time to share with us. I can say that I, for one, have learned a lot, and I will be watching this, okay, because it will be saved. I will be rewatching this because let me be honest, like you made me see that there's a lot of things that I haven't been paying attention to enough, me as a young person. And I have no doubt that there are a lot of people who feel that way as well. So thank you again very much, old man, as you keep calling yourself. We really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, so we are going to move forward from that very scintillating conversation. Again, gosh, I wish we had more time so that every single person can be able to say, to share their views, to share their opinions, because I know there's such important contributions. Remember that we have shared a WhatsApp link. We can continue those conversations there, as well as on the various spaces that YouLead Africa has online. If you follow us, you'll be able to see the different places where we can continue these conversations, not just now, but for the future. Okay, so right now we are going to have a word from the Secretary General of the EAC. Franklin, you can go ahead and share that.
Just give me a minute, please.
Franklin, we are not playing video.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so probably as we get that ready, I can just remind you that, again, YouLead Africa is not a standalone. We have various partners that come together to make this dream happen, okay? And one of those partners is the East African community. And that is why the Secretary General has a word to share with us today as we launch the YouLead Summit 2021. Okay, Franklin, you let me know when we have that ready. Okay, I think that's something we'll be sharing a little later on. So we'll just move on from that for now. Speaking of our partners, we have a number of continental collaborating entities across the continent. YouLead did begin as a regional thing. It was East African, but now we are all over the continent. And Franklin, I don't know if you're able to share some of those, some of the continental collaborating entities that we work with to make YouLead do what it does, okay, that help us do what we do. I wonder if you can share some of those on our screen so that you guys can have a look. There are a number of them from the different regions of Africa.
Yes, can you just give me a minute? I sort them out on the display and then I'll share them. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So when that comes up, we can discuss it. Yes. So YouLead Africa does work with a number of different entities across the continent because we really do believe in leaving no one behind. So as we grew over the years, we got to a point and we said, this is not just for East Africa. We want African youth to benefit from these programs, to benefit from the different activities that we put in place, that we are continuing to put in place, even outside the summit, because the summit is one event every year, but we do so much throughout the year that we want every single person to be able to have access to contribute to, so that at the end of the day, we are doing something that's not just for one place or the other, but for our continent. Now, this year's summit, we are very, very excited for the 2021 summit. This is something we do every year, and this year we project that it's going to be bigger than ever. Now, it is going to be a hybrid summit. So obviously, because of COVID-19, we are going to be having the majority of our participants online. So it is going to be virtual for the most part, with a very small physical audience. But all of you are absolutely welcome to apply, to apply to be delegates at the summit. And we are going to show you a short video about how you can apply for the summit. But let me first check quickly, because we have given Franklin many things, okay? But Franklin, if that video is ready, we can probably show our audience.
Yeah, that definitely has to be ready. It's ready.
Fantastic. So we are just going to show you guys how you can be part of the YouLead Summit 2021. The YouLead Summit 2021 is here. Since 2017, the YouLead Summit has been jointly convened by the East African Community and MS Training Center for Development Cooperation in Arusha, Tanzania. This annual climax event is now East Africa's largest and most diverse forum for young leaders, mentors, government policymakers, development partners, academia, media, private sector, and civil society from all over the continent to craft responses to the continent's rapidly growing youth population, their challenges and opportunities. Wondering how to become a delegate? Head over to our website, www.youleadsummit.org. Follow the prompts and enter all the required information and submit. After submission, your application will go through assessment, review, and finally admission. Admitted delegates will be announced weekly on our platforms until we officially close applications. One day before the summit, delegates will be able to log in and get acquainted with our virtual space. You will be able to visit partner booths and product stands, check the forums you've registered for, view the conferencing environment, confirm venues for all your sessions, network with fellow delegates via our live chat room and lounge, and view the conference schedule. Once the summit kicks off, you will be ushered into our virtual summit lobby, where you can ask questions at the info desk and speak directly to us. At this point, you can navigate to different areas of the summit. The exhibition hall. Here you will find a collection of booths by our partners and sponsors. In these booths, you can interact with our partners and sponsors directly via live chat, and you can view and save uploaded documents and videos, as well as view products and services. Auditoriums. The YouLead Summit comprises several thematic sessions. The Under 40 Political Leaders Forum, the Arusha Peace Forum, the Gender Equality Forum, the Arusha Debates partner-led workshop sessions, and East Africa to Bonge. You will have access to all these auditoriums where you can watch live and semi-live webinars. You can also ask questions and talk to fellow delegates and other attendees in the live text chat.
the lounge. Here you can live chat with other attendees and delegates in between sessions. So log on to www.youleadsummit.org to register and apply.
All right. So that's a quick summary of how you can be part of this year's YouLead Summit 2021. But I imagine there's still some more questions about the how and all of that. And so that is what this next session is about. That is what this next segment is going to be about. Now, I see someone was saying that you don't feel like you're getting enough attention in the comments. I do apologize. We do have a time limit to work within, so I am unable to get into every single comment. However, our team is responding to your comments, and please do feel free as well to join the WhatsApp group so that we can continue the conversations over there as well. Again, apologies. We would love for everyone to have an opportunity to share as much as possible, but we do not have that. But please feel free again to keep commenting, talk to the people in the comments. I will also come into the comments now and then, and the WhatsApp group is fully functional. I see conversations already happening on there. So right now, I'm going to invite the YouLead Summit Director 2021, Ms. Sodfa Daaji. Sodfa, are you there?
Yes, hi Fiona.
Hello, hey, you're blinding us. You look so amazing.
Thank you so much, Fiona. Your moderation is incredible. I've been following through and you are an amazing host. So I'm very grateful to have this conversation with you, but let's get straight into business if you don't mind. And let me start by saying good afternoon, bon après-midi, and masan khir, everyone. And once again, thank you, Fiona, and the entire YouLead Secretariat for the great work. And I'm very pleased being here today as I look forward to a great interaction with all of you. I am, first of all, amazed by the excitement of all our participants. I've been seeing hands up, the engagement in our chat box, in our social media channels during the conversation with Mr. Andrew. And this heartwarming support is what fuels our daily work. And I would like first to deliver a quick message to my francophone friends. Chers amis, je vous remercie pour votre soutien et j'ai hâte d'interagir avec vous. Nous nous excusons pour l'absence d'interprétation, mais ne vous inquiétez pas. Nous aurons une interprétation pendant le sommeil pour assurer le plus haut niveau de communication et d'interaction. Donc, n'hésite pas à soumettre vos questions dans le WhatsApp group et je reviendrai vers vous. I'm switching back to English, and as I have been introduced, my name is Sodfa Daaji, and I'm the Strategic and Technical Advisor for Global and Continental Engagements at YouLead Africa. And this year, I'm very, very honored to serve as the YouLead Summit Director. Fiona has touched already on our journey, and it's the vivid reality of youth greatest leadership in the fields of politics, business, and peace and security, and proves that the solutions to the most pressing challenges affecting the African continent rely on young people's mobilization, creativity, and greater understanding. We have started as a summit, bringing together young people to discuss the challenges in their participation at political level. Then we have integrated the economic aspect and broadened it up to include the peace and security component. And the outcomes of the summit serving as a convening platform for young people resulted into the transition from a summit to a program, with our mothers organization hosting us, namely the East African Community and MS Training Center for Development Cooperation. Now, the summit remains our climax event to flag what are the most pressing challenges and jointly co-create solutions that are youth-led, youth-owned, and youth-driven. We work for the implementation of these solutions with youth-led and youth-serving partner organizations to ensure maximized impact and broader ownership of the overall process. With more than 10,000 alumni, the YouLead Summit has grown to the extent of being the most attended youth-led event in East Africa, and now we are going Africa. This is a great milestone and a response to youth demands from all over the continent to have an harmonized African-led and African-owned agenda. Our peculiarity is in the fact that we bring together different actors and we bridge intergovernmental and grassroots within one platform. to ensure greater and meaningful engagement and conversations. We craft responses to the most pressing issues with different stakeholders. Within this context, I'm very proud of being here and presenting this year's program and summit, and to respond to any questions you may have. But prior to that, kindly allow me to express my gratitude to the East African community and MS Training Center for Development and Cooperation for the incommensurable trust given to us and proving that young people are very capable to lead the change on issues that directly affect them. Similarly, I would like to express my warmest gratitude to the co-conveners of this year's summit, His Excellency Jakaya Kikwete, former President of the United Republic of Tanzania, as the YouLead patron. The commitment of His Excellency in fulfilling the call of young people is indescribable and admirable. Similarly, the leadership and support of Honorable Dr. Peter Mathuki, Secretary General of the East African Community, proves the greatest willingness in building and leveraging young people's capacity to be today and tomorrow's leaders. I think as well, I would like to thank the East African Business Council and the Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete Foundation, our summit partners, for the vision, expertise, and support provided during this journey. This summit wouldn't be possible without the support we are receiving. Now, YouLead Summit 2021. We are bolder, we are stronger, and we are going Africa. The summit will take place from November 8th to November 12th on a hybrid format, as Fiona has mentioned. The COVID-19 pandemic has presented many challenges, but greatest opportunities to ensure a broader outreach as we ride within the digital revolution. Held in Arusha, the summit will host 150 delegates in person and 20,000 virtually. As we ensure a balance among expertise, regions, and gender, we expect all the delegates to be vaccinated. This is to ensure the safety of all our participants attending physically in Arusha, as your well-being is at the heart of all of us. The 20,000 delegates will be hosted in the vFairs platform, a dynamic and interactive platform that allows users to join the sessions, interact with each other, and get to know more about our different work. The platform will host as well different multimedia content, which will allow you to get to know more about our work. Day one, taking place on November 8th, is dedicated to youth in politics, reinventing leadership for African millennials. We will start with quick opening remarks. Then we will dive into the Under 40 Political Leaders Forum in the format of a roundtable with National Youth Council representatives and young parliamentarians under the theme, If You Sat Where They, the Leaders, Sit. This debate is inspired by the YouLead Youth Governance Architecture Study, which will be launched on November 8th, and the proposed elected young leaders performance and cooperation peer review mechanism, to which a workshop on day 4 will be hosted. The roundtable is followed by a tea break before diving into the policymakers and development partners roundtable on the youth governance architecture in the East African community, reimagining the role of policymakers and development partners in creating an enabling environment for young people's participation in good governance, leadership, and development processes, inspired by YouLead's youth governance architecture and co-hosted with the European Union delegation to Tanzania and the East African community. The last session is the presidential address convened by His Excellency Jakaya Kikwete and feature remarks and virtual address from high-level and esteemed guests, as the session will be marking the launch of the EAC Youth Manifesto, the YouLead Youth Governance Architecture Study, and the unveiling of the EAC YouLead Fellowship. In the evening, we will be honored to host a fireside chat with His Excellency Jakaya Kikwete, hosted at MS Training Center for Development Cooperation. On November 9, we will be focusing on youth in business, trade, and enterprise. Actors, not spectators. How can African young innovators make the AFCFTA magic happen? We will start with the Under 40 Business Leaders Forum, featuring youth business leaders sharing experiences of cross-border trade efforts, successes, and challenges, and defining how best the legal instruments, policy, and institutional framework can be more enabling for youth-led cross-border trade and regional enterprise to be fully attained. This session is inspired by YouLead's Youth Governance Architecture Study on the enabling environment for youth inclusion in economic governance for accelerating economic opportunities and decent work for youth in the East African community, and the Continental AFCFTA Youth Inclusion Study findings. This session will host as well the Youth Enterprise Awards, namely the presentation and recognition of youth-led businesses in innovative ideas requiring startup capital, and 2, existing businesses requiring scale-up capital. The Youth in Business Day will feature a high-level dialogue culminating into the Arusha debates on how can Africa's young innovators make AFCFTA magic happen, exploring Pan-African innovations that are working, their leaders, and the opportunities to break new ground and open doors for youth to participate in regional and continental economies under the AFCFTA. This is one of our brand new initiatives to demonstrate Africa's innovation, solution-driven, on the most pressing economic issues affecting the continent. Complementary to our delegates and experience, we aim at offering an experience on what Arusha as a city offers, considering its historical background. We will be doing so through the Arusha experience, and we very much look forward to welcoming guests and delegates physically in Arusha as we will explore the city and its natural and historical beauty. We will close the day with the Youth Enterprise Awards Gala Dinner in recognition of the Youth Enterprise Awards awardees, and this provides an opportunity to celebrate our delegates and distinguished guests. The third day, November 10, is dedicated to the Youth in Peace and Security, the Arusha Peace Forum, East African Youth Forum on Peace, youth participation in conflict prevention as a proactive measure to maintaining peace and security. In the morning, we will host indeed the Under 40 Peace and Security Forum, which will be followed by the Gender Equality Forum, providing an intergenerational discussion on the Action Coalition commitments and co-hosted with Plan International. On November 11, we will be working with delegates to develop the post-summit agenda, highlighting activities that will be structuring the work of YouLead Secretariat and of its partners. During this day, we will be hosting workshops with our different partners, including with Plan International and Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete Foundation. Lastly, November 12th, we will host the East Africa Tubonge with national youth members of parliament. Yes, the summit provides a platform for intellectual and informative discussion on our present and future, and how best to position youth leadership for the development of the continent. But we also aim at offering the best experience for our delegates, both physically and virtually. Complementary to these sessions, we will feature artistic expression, fun activities, and interactions. I know you are curious about our high-level guests and speakers. So please follow our social media channels and the website as we will unveil our speakers, guests, and partners. I am really excited about the summit and I look forward to welcoming all of you physically and virtually. Thank you so much. Fiona, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sodfa. You really broke it down well. And I don't even see questions because clearly you have hit just, everything. But guys, if you do have more questions, kindly feel free to leave them in the comment section. I'm just going to ask the one question that I saw. Somebody asked that, they were asking about whether they can attend physically. So maybe we can just get into that a little bit clearer for this person.
Thank you very much. Prior to my presentation, Fiona has showed us a great video, which is very informative in terms of how do you apply and register to attend the summit. So we will start with the first round of selection. Again, we want to make sure that we balance in terms of expertise, fields, gender, countries. We want to bring together the most dynamic and rich platform, which all of you makes it. But considering the small number of participants physically, 150, we will make sure that our criteria takes in consideration the balance in terms of gender, in terms of countries, in terms of expertise. One priority and one criteria that for sure we cannot negotiate on is the fact that physical delegates have to be vaccinated. Again, we believe that our main priority is to make sure that all of you are safe. And that's what we want to provide, a safe platform. So when you are going to register, when you open the platform, you will find already these criteria, which means that if for any reason you are not yet vaccinated, you cannot get vaccinated, please consider attending the summit virtually. If instead you are vaccinated or you are planning to get vaccinated very soon, because vaccination has also a time in terms of activation, kindly proceed with applying for the physical. Bearing in mind that if for any reason you have not been selected for the physical participation, again, it's a continental summit, it's a limited number. This doesn't prevent you to apply for the virtual participation. I hope this is clear.
Yes, I think that was very clear. So again, I think I'm hoping that, it's becoming a little clearer for all of us that the majority of attendees, participants will be virtual because we do have to be mindful of COVID. And for the few that will be able to attend physically, they must be vaccinated. I see a question from Sami Luther. Sami asks, is it for payment? What are the procedures for getting physical attendance slot?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think at the moment, again, we don't have a great criteria in terms of physical participation. Again, we want to make sure that expertise areas are considered. In terms of, I've been seeing also other questions about whether you can self-sponsor your... Okay, sorry. In terms of if you can self-sponsor your trip to participate at our summit. We will have another quota most probably, but possibly we would like to make sure that expenses for delegates are covered. Again, this is your summit, and we want to make sure that partners take care of you. So we are working on that to make sure that when we do the selection, we ensure that our partners are covering your participation. However, we know that also many young people are keen to self-cover their expenses. So if that's the case, we will allow a small quota, but this again depends on the applications we are receiving. For sure, we are very transparent. So when you head into our website, or as the summit will be running through, we will provide a great explanation on how we have selected, why these 150 are physical, why these 20,000 are virtual, in a way that we showcase our criteria and we make sure that everyone understands what was our process.
Okay, I think that also answers the question that Potlako has put down about, is it an expenses paid trip or self-sponsorship? I think Sodfa has spoken about that as well. I hope that was clear. Let's see. For attending physical, Moro asked for attending physically.
I'm calling you here. I'm the organizing component. All of colleagues who have made this. My question is, do we have Liberian youth that are participating in this all important events?
Fiona, you're muted.
Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. They had to mute everyone, so I also got muted. But yes, I'm not sure who was speaking, but I'm going to ask you to please hold on. We will, if there is a segment where you can speak, then we will just let you know, then you can put up your hand so we can just have a bit of order. Otherwise, we'll keep interrupting everybody. So kindly hold on, just put your hand up, and when we have time for that, then we can have it. Or alternatively, just leave your comment in the comment section and I will read it. All right. So Moro Brown asks, for attending physically, if a candidate is successful, would COVID vaccination be compulsory? Yes. So Sodfa has actually shared that with us already. It is compulsory. We want to make sure that you are safe. If you are a physical delegate, we need to ensure that that is as safe as possible. All right. And Excellence Nwafor asks, please, how can one indicate interest or register for the physical meeting? All right, let me let Sodfa answer that.
Thank you so much. I guess my colleagues are sharing the link for the registration. So as Fiona has demonstrated the video in terms of how it will be structured, the virtual, and on the same how to register, please follow the procedure, open the web page, and you can start the registration. You can indicate if you want to be a physical, then if that's the case, we will evaluate your application. If for any reason you are not eligible to be a physical participant due to the fact that it doesn't fit the criteria in terms of balance for region, gender, expertise, and so on, then you will be invited to join the summit virtually, whether your application received enough steps in terms of evaluation.
All right, thank you, Sodfa. All right, I see a couple of more questions. Some of them are the same, but we are going to, if you have more questions, I'm going to encourage you to also leave them on the WhatsApp group specifically. It will be a lot easier for us to answer each and every one. We may not be able to go one by one right now, but we have a WhatsApp group and we can answer every single question there. And even on our social media, we can answer any additional questions. Because I do want to be mindful of time as well. Thank you so much, Sodfa, for sharing in such great detail. I've seen so many people also appreciating how much detail you've gone into, because people were really wondering and were getting so many questions. So thank you for clarifying on all of those issues. And yes, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anna, for your great moderation.
You're welcome. And I think the French audience is very, very happy that you are here. I wish I could translate what they're writing, but well, you're here, so you'll read the comments as well. All right, thank you so much. So there, we did, as I mentioned much earlier in this session, we don't work alone. We have a couple of very vital partners, and one of those partners is the Jakaya Mrisho Chikwete Foundation, and Angela, I believe Vanessa, and Vanessa from the Jakaya Mrisho Chikwete Foundation is just going to share a brief word about our partnership and our development of the EAC Youth Leadership Fellowship. Vanessa, if you are here already, kindly just switch on your sound, your video, and you can share. Thank you.
Thank you, and such great listening to all the work that's been shared so far. A huge congratulations to Sodfa and the whole team. I think you can feel the excitement from everybody, and we are very appreciative of all the work that's gone in so far into the development. We know it to be a great event. So my name is Vanessa Nyoti. I am the CEO at the Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete Foundation. And as you all know, our founder and the chair of our board is the patron of the YouLead Summit. So we already have a very good and close working relationship with YouLead and MSTCDC. So it was only natural that, we look at ways in which we can continue to foster youth participation and youth development post the summit. And it was in 2019 when some of the participants to the summit identified that a fellowship program would be a good opportunity, and it's a huge need among young people. So working together with the YouLead team and MSTCDC, under the guidance of the East Africa community, we will launch at this summit the East Africa Youth Fellowship Program. And the launch of the summit will share the idea of what the program is, the fellowship is, and we'll also call for partners. We also have some time and some sessions where we can get more detailed input from all of you. So from the participants on what it is exactly you'd like to learn from such a fellowship model, right? How we should, mix the blending of the learning with the online and the physical, the partners, the mentors are to be part of the program. So we really want this to be a co-created program, and that's what it's going to be, co-creation. So we're looking to all of you to provide your input, as well as for you to participate in it as well. So we know there are a lot of great youth actors and change makers on the ground, and we want to partner with you on this fellowship. So more details will come. We'll share how exactly you'll be able to register and attend the event, and how, if you can't attend either virtually or physically, you can still provide input into the development of the fellowship program. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll share more details as it's available. So congrats again, and thank you to the MS team and YouLead for this great opportunity for the summit and for the fellowship as well.
Thank you so much, Ms. Anyoti. Again, that is one of our core partners. You guys have heard about the fellowship. Please do not say, you can't say that we don't share good things here, okay? Important things. So look out for that. And there's so many exciting things that we are preparing during and post summit. All right, so the link has been shared as well in the comments and on our WhatsApp group. Please do feel free to continue to contribute, whether it's here or on WhatsApp and our socials where all this information is going up as well. At this point, we do have just a few minutes left, okay? So we are really winding down. I am looking. All right. We do see, I see that the WhatsApp platform might be full, but I know that the team is working on it. If we need to create another one, I know they're going to do it ASAP and you'll be able to join. All right. So we are going to just go ahead in these last few minutes and just highlight a couple. We do have quite a number of partners, by the way. I don't even think we'd be able to have all of them share something at this particular point, but I'm going to invite one or two of them to just say a quick hi from their organization as we close this event. I believe Rona Ahumza is online with Uganda Youth Network. Rona, you have 30 seconds to say hello. And okay, if we cannot find Rona, there she is. Go ahead, Rona.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rona Ahumuza. I work with Uganda Youth Network as a program manager. Uganda Youth Network is a youth leading organization that works with young people in different fields, advocacy, governance across Uganda and East Africa as well. And we are proud to be part of the consortium members of the YouLead Summit. And we are proud to be here today as we launch One Young Africa. And thank you so much for attending the meeting.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Rona. I believe there's also Ms. Arma Miringo from the Africa Youth Trust. 30 seconds, say hello to our audience. Welcome.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Irma Maringo. I work with Africa Youth Trust, which is a youth serving and development and advocacy organization based in Nairobi, Kenya. And what we seek to do is to harness the productive energies of African youth in their communities towards peace and equity and prosperity. And some of our program priorities include youth and good governance, livelihood resilience, climate smart agriculture, gender equality, and young women empowerment. And we are extremely excited for this year's YouLead Summit, which is going Africa. So this is great, and we're so happy to be a part of it and to see all of you participants from around Africa with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Irma. And then, okay. Yves, I think, Savimana of Yaga Burundi. Take those 30 seconds to say hello to our audience.
So thank you so much. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm Yves Jacquin Savimana. I'm blogger at Yaga Burundi and the focal person of Yaga in YouLead, Africa. So what is Yaga? Yaga is Yaga comes from in Kirundi. It means to dialogue or discuss in French. So in French, dialoguer. Okay. Yaga is the main program of Ajebudi. Ajebudi is an association of young Burundians for inclusive development. So Yaga is a community of bloggers with more than 100 young people who express themselves online daily on variety topics. So we are working for social change. We are investing in training, coaching, and online and offline awareness, prevention, and popularization campaign. So Yaga is a community that we want to advance Burundian society in all its components without any discrimination, focusing mainly on youth issues. So with the partnership with YouLead Africa, so we have no doubt that together we can make the Africa we want as young people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eve. So that's as much time as we have. We do have a number of consortium members who will keep highlighting on our social media pages so that you can follow all these youth-led organizations that are working for impact in so many different and vital fields in the continent. Once again, thank you absolutely everyone for taking the time to spend with us this afternoon. We value you, we value your time, we value your contributions, which is why I see that so many people are saying perhaps we can switch to Telegram. We will take that into consideration as well and just create a platform for everybody to be had. So thank you once again. We are going to close this event on a flashback note, just a small flashback to YouLead 2020. But this is actually the end. Once again, we cannot thank you enough for being a part of our launch. Gosh, I think I should have known actually more languages in which to say thank you. Merci beaucoup, asante sana, mwevale nyo. Thank you so much, and have a fantastic day ahead, and follow us for every single update. We will be updating you every single day to the summit. And that's it from us. This is the end of the launch. Bye-bye, guys.
Fiona?
Yes.
Fiona, sorry, I know that you've closed the session. I just wanted to find out something from some of the young VIPs. They are chairpersons of committees in the parliament and some young ministers in the states. Is the application procedure the same for the VIPs, or do they just send a diplomatic note to the Ministry of ESC, which is then transferred to the Secretariat of the YouLead Summit? That's what I wanted to find out. And then on the issue, no, the second one, just a quick one. The issue, we know that all the in-person delegates should be vaccinated, but are they going to have is there a quarantine regardless of whether you're vaccinated or not, so that they can also put that into consideration? So regardless of whether they're vaccinated or not, do they still have to undergo, a quarantine of a few days or so? Yeah, I just wanted to have that clarification. Sorry to interrupt. I know that you were closing the session, but I just, I didn't have an.
Okay, thank you so much. I am going to see, Ivan, are you online?
Yes, I am.
Please go ahead.
First of all, I didn't get the name of the person who is asking.
Ivan, this is me, Animu, from South Sudan.
Okay, Animu, how are you?
I have a couple of young MPs with me here. We're just not able to turn on our video because of the internet and problems. But yeah, so some of them are chairs. They're not just ordinary MPs. They are chairs of specialized committees within the parliament, but they're also young people. So yeah.
Sure.
That's the guidance that we needed, yeah. And so that if it's going to be cumbersome, then they just participate virtually. But ideally, we would like to have a couple of them physically. So yeah.
Okay, good, important, and fantastic practical questions. Since June, the Secretary General of the ESC has already invited partner states through the usual diplomatic channels, and towards clear instructions around what the relevant ESC ministries can do to extend an invitation to the relevant departments, agencies, and personalities or departments. So we will share with you a copy of that letter so that those who are interested.
We have that, Ivan. We have the invitation extended by the ESC via email. Yeah, but when I was hearing Sodfa, giving the new whatever, I thought it had been updated. But if it's still the same, then there's no need to reshare. We have the ESC ministry has already provided.
Yeah, so that is one. Secondly, it is very encouraged for everyone to open a profile on the portal. It's a very simple, straightforward process, because we need to document everyone, but also to showcase their profiles, and it's good for everyone. And certainly, as Sodfa said, it is a very transparent process, and there will be exceptions, but the exceptions are very limited. But as you have highlighted, we have, for example, an under 40 political leaders forum where we are inviting members of parliament that are either youth or youthful. You might not be under the bracket of young, but you feel young, you can also be most welcome. But most importantly, also to mention is that there will be a special session for parliamentarians. It's called the East Africa Tubonge, where parliamentarians will be on a mic check and discuss their role as parliamentarians and how they can support the outcomes of the summit through the Council of Ministers of the ESC. And I think that's very, very important. Well, I think final but not least is that ideally we welcome the members of parliament in particular and any other government dignitaries, and they don't have to necessarily go through the same application process, but it is a good idea that they can showcase their profile to the whole world that they are participating in support of creating a One Young Africa. I hope that really answers the question, and thank you for asking again.
Yes, that answers it. And on the queue, on the quarantine is not necessary if they're fully vaccinated, right? The ones who are attending physically.
On quarantine and related COVID-19 prevention measures, we will be following exactly the prevailing regulations of the host country, Tanzania. So if Tanzania is not requiring quarantine of travelers, it will not be required. So what we are just saying, we are encouraging everyone who really wants a physical slot to make sure they have evidence of vaccination, and that's all.
Thank you, that answered it. Thank you so much. Sorry to delay the meeting. I know we were closing. Thank you.
This is why we are here, so don't worry.
Okay,
right.
hello.
Okay,
hello, hey,
Fiona.
Fiona, I'm sorry to have interrupted. Let me turn on my camera. Well, I'm Sunday Jamela from Malawi. I'm here to represent a certain youth movement, which is just being formed from the southern region of Africa, which is known as the United African Youth Movement. I just before you made your closing remarks, I saw some. You give a chance to some members to who are representing the organizations who partnered with this initiative. So as a representative of the movement, also I would say that we would like to partner with you. So I don't know what's the procedure to get there. So if there is a well stipulated procedure for how of partnering with you, please. I don't know how you can take me through that, or if there's a very simple way, please, you can just direct me on how we can get that done. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sunday. And thank you for your interest in partnering with us. I'm going to recommend that you email me directly. I'm sending you my email so that we can discuss that bilaterally. I hope that's all right. Because I think that's a discussion we can have on our own without keeping everyone here. But my email is there, it is open. please feel free to reach out and we can discuss that on our own. Now, I won't be able to take any more contributions at this point. This is the end of our launch, but again, all our avenues of contact are open, our WhatsApps, our social media. That is my email address. I am so sorry. I really I'm not in position to let everybody talk, but please join the WhatsApp group and then we can continue the conversation there. Sawa. Okay, so this is where we are closing. I'm going to ask Franklin to close us off with a video. And again, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time. All right, bye-bye, Africa.
This is the YouLead Summit 2020. My name is Solomon Serwanja. I'm an investigative journalist and a news anchor with NBS Television. I'm also the executive director of the African Institute for Investigative Journalism. The YouLead Summit 2020 has been a center where young people from the East African community have been having meaningful conversation and reflecting on our position in the development agenda of the community.
So far we've talked about different topics regarding peace and stability in the region. We talk about corruption and business, and basically how those different sectors in the country affect us as youth, and how we as youth can benefit from them, but also be the major players in driving changes in those sectors.
We've had several voices from all parts of the East African community, including Burundi, Rwanda, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and all of us agree, at least we all agree on one thing, that the youth are very, very important in taking the East African community forward.
I've appreciated the fact that almost everyone who has spoken have noted the importance of giving youth a platform to act from now, emphasizing on the fact that youth are not only the leaders for tomorrow, but also the leaders for now.
I encourage all youth out there who are listening and watching to this to come through to the next YouLead Summit. It's a very wonderful experience. YouLead 2021 is the place where you need to get to. So when the applications go out, maybe starting next year, please apply, come through, come and share this wonderful experience. You will learn a lot of things, meet great contacts, and you will build yourself and East Africa as a whole.
Be part of the YouLead Summit 2020. Go to our YouTube, YouLead Summit. Also, let's get social on Twitter and on Instagram. The hashtag is YouLead20 and development is people. This is the YouLead Summit 2020.
Excellencies, distinguished young people, and dear friends, it is a pleasure for me to inform you that this year's YouLead Summit will be held from the 8th to the 12th of November in Arusha, Tanzania. As you may recall, the YouLead Summit is being convened annually by the Secretary General of the East African Community in collaboration with the MS Training Center for Development Cooperation and other partners. It is heartwarming indeed to know that the 2021 YouLead Summit will also be accessible to an Africa-wide audience via virtual platforms. This year's theme is the future of Africa, creating jobs, feeding and housing the world's youngest continent. I'd like to use this opportunity to invite you all to participate actively or virtually. I call upon policymakers, development partners, the private sector, media, civil society, and other stakeholders to be part of and support the East African community in convening this year's YouLead Summit. I thank you and look forward to welcoming you all to the summit.
YouLead Summit 2021 is here. Since 2017, the YouLead Summit has been jointly convened by the East African Community and MS Training Center for Development Cooperation in Arusha, Tanzania. This annual climax event is now East Africa's largest and most diverse forum for young leaders, mentors, government policymakers, development partners, academia, media, private sector, and civil society from all over the continent to craft responses to the continent's rapidly growing youth population, their challenges and opportunities. Wondering how to become a delegate? Head over to our website www.youleadsummit.org. Follow the prompts and enter all the required information and submit. After submission, your application will go through assessment, review, and finally admission. Admitted delegates will be announced weekly on our platforms until we officially close applications. One day before the summit, delegates will be able to log in and get acquainted with our virtual space. You will be able to visit partner booths and product stands, check the forums you've registered for, view the conferencing environment, confirm venues for all your sessions, network with fellow delegates via our live chat room and lounge, and view the conference schedule. Once the summit kicks off, you will be ushered into our virtual summit lobby where you can ask questions at the info desk and speak directly to us. At this point, you can navigate to different areas of the summit. The exhibition hall. Here you will find a collection of booths by our partners and sponsors. In these booths, you can interact with our partners and sponsors directly via live chat, and you can view and save uploaded documents and videos, as well as view products and services. Auditoriums. The YouLead Summit comprises several thematic sessions. The Under 40 Political Leaders Forum, the Arusha Peace Forum, the Gender Equality Forum, the Arusha Debates partner-led workshop sessions, and East Africa to Bonge. You will have access to all these auditoriums where you can watch live and semi-live webinars. You can also ask questions and talk to fellow delegates and other attendees in the live text chat. The lounge. Here you can live chat with other attendees and delegates in between sessions. So log on to www.youleadsummit.org to register and apply.